Hi guys, this is the 10th episode of the Hashbrown Traveler, and in this episode I'm not going to talk about the unused visa during COVID outbreak as I have moved it to some other episode now. In this episode, I continue talking with SR Devaprakash, whom we have been talking to in the past two episodes. In this episode, we talk about his experiences of being a student in the United States in the 1970s. So I had a conversation with him via telephone, and this is what he had to say about his experience.
Going for USA for higher studies was not something new to me. Earlier, my father had gone round the world. That included tours from one end of Pacific to other end of Atlantic on his own, at his pleasure. It was a pleasure trip. Then later on, my two uncles went abroad to USA for higher studies and training also. So at the same time, because my father had gone there in 1932, he also subscribed to the magazines that were published there. Time magazine is still there, I think, and another Life magazine. I think now it has been discontinued, and Reader's Digest, and that American version has stopped. They're getting only Indian edition now, right now. So in his library, after his return from America, my father had maintained a house library. After his death, when I was searching, going through his library and all that, I found his old passport also, and also old editions of Reader's Digest commencing from 1944 or so. So I was and this Life magazine was like Illustrated Weekly of India, which is no longer exist here, even here in India. So I was very much conversant with the way of life, and in a way, the way of life and things going on in America. And so I had my own notion about American life and all that. Then I went there. So when I went there, there was certain social things which I was not aware of, and my imagination was something like this. Here, we are bothered by vehicle, harsh horns. You see people sounding horns and very annoying to our ears and all that. So I was thinking, American streets are full of automobiles, and I simply imagined there would be horrible noise all around the place. That was my thinking. And when I went there, the way the traffic was moving regularly and in a very regulated manner, and basically no horns were heard. In America, if you hear a horn by a vehicle, it means there is some emergency, some accident. Otherwise, nobody would blow his horn there. And at the same time, in India, you find people crossing the street without any regulation, and we have stray dogs and cattle roaming around the street. So naturally, people will have to make way sounding horn. But it's not the case in America. In America, everything is regulated, and people who will be walking on the footpath will have signals available to them. If they press, the red light will be shown to the vehicles, and we can cross. In some other states, preference will be given to pedestrians to cross the road. If a vehicle is coming, and if the driver sees a pedestrian on the pavement, he will immediately stop and signals the pedestrian to cross the road, giving preference to him. So that is the discipline there, that is the courtesy there that you don't find in India. I cannot imagine this kind of a courtesy over there. but that's how it happened. And in the beginning, when I was walking in the street, people here, if you stare at them, they feel annoyed. But if you stare at people little longer in America, they smile and say hi. So it so happened I was walking in the street one day in the early my stay in America. A black gentleman was coming in front of me. So I just looked at him for a while, and he smiled and said hi. I was surprised. You see, I was not a stranger. I was a stranger to him. How could he say hi to me? So I looked back and found to find out if there is anybody behind me. For him, he may be saying something like hi and I like that. No, there was no one behind me. He was directly, because I looked at him, was greeting me by saying hi. So in America, everywhere, if you look at people a little longer, they will say hi. They smile and say hi. So that's the culture there. And at the same time, thanking for any kind of a offer or any kind of a gesture is a must there in America. Even small children will be given training to say thank you. So I once noticed in a shop while coming out, the one little girl was not saying thank you to the person who was preparing the bill after taking that bill to her hands. And that saleswoman instructed that girl to say thank you. Till she said thank you, she would not allow her to go out. So that is the culture there, thanking and all that. And there is a joke also about this thank you business. And it so happened somebody was sleeping in an apartment, and opposite to that, people were building apartment, and the thing was, every time the person below would throw a brick to the person standing in the upstairs, he would say thank you. And the down below fellow will say welcome. So you imagine how many bricks they would have transferred, and every time thank you, welcome, thank you, welcome. This poor guy could not sleep properly. That was a joke. So that's the culture there, being polite, cultured, and expressing gratitude and all that. Gratitude is a sign of godliness. People, even if you help them, they may accept the gift as if we are obligated to give them that help. So this is something, very unnatural for a person coming from America. And immediately after coming, I was there for more than 5 years. Immediately after coming back from America, I went to a bank, and when another person approached the counter assistant, the counter assistant was asking him loudly, "What do you want?" But in America, that can never happen. If you have to stand in queue in America. Before going to each counter, you stand in a queue outside, and one by one you get in and go to the counter you want. And do you know the first question they will ask? What can I help you? As if requesting us to tell them what we want. Here it is rude, because population is the problem here in India. So many people coming, asking stupid questions. We are expecting all kinds of answers. People get impatient, and no courtesy business at all. And that's why even in the streets also, with all that cattle, stray dogs, people roaming widely and all that. So there is absolutely no question of being polite. And it so happened, one day I was walking on the footpath, and my friend was coming in a car in the same road, and he just stopped just for a while to say hi to me. That was a mistake. Immediately, the police will have their own car. Immediately, siren policeman came and asked him why you have stopped here in this point of the road. So he was fine. He was taken and asked to pay $15 or something like that. So it is highly regulated, everything in order, and there is no question of disorder and all that. So this is something totally different from the culture we have, the culture that we have developed because of overpopulation and all other religious beliefs and things like that. But there it is a totally different thing. Even their beliefs are different. They have different Christian sects and groups and all that. But basic overall customs and traditions and beliefs are very much in a high level. And that's what I was wondering, things which I had not seen, even though I was going through all these books and all that, with all these experiences and photos that I shared. This is something I had not expected, and which I ultimately got accustomed to. So this is, basically, you see, you are in a different part of the world. It is not that even in India, even though with different languages and all that, basically the culture is same. And we have, of course, we have certain good points also. They also have good points. I always give advice to people who travel. I encourage them to travel. We have gone round the world. We have established a record of having visited all the 7 continents of the world. And of course, in the 7 continents, we don't have people. We have only penguins. We contact them. Of course, they have stations, research stations where we have people. And in Antarctica, in British base, we had a post office also. You could post letters to anywhere in the world by paying $1 or so, and it would reach after a month or so. So all these provisions and all that we could see, and we could give them perhaps some good things of our own. For example, our own saying is that Atiti Devo Bhava. So even though they don't consider the visitors there as gods, but they have a typical courtesy. But if you make some mistake, they'll be laughing at us with poor knowledge of their culture and all that. But we have, a good point. That is, Atiti Devo Bhava. We consider all visitors as equivalent to gods, and we should honor them and try to help them and all that. But of course, we do have here all kinds of prejudice also. Particularly, we found in Tamil Nadu, they are very much for Tamil language. If you speak in Kannada language or things, you don't get very good response and all that we have experienced also. But whatever it is, we have a lot of things to learn from America and Western countries. We have visited Western countries also, their culture, their way of looking at things are very much different, which we like to learn from them. And at the same time, we should also give our culture to them also, good points of our culture also. That brings in a closer relationship between people of the world. And that's what my thinking is. Thinking also. I hope with the advent of technology and this WhatsApp age, Facebook and internet, email and all that, now it's a global village. It's no longer different countries. Now the entire world is a global village, one village. So we can understand better, we exchange ideas better and all that. So this should be taken as an advantage in knowing people and perhaps understanding their feelings, trying to help each other and all that. I think ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ in ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಕೋಶ ಓದು ದೇಶ ಸುತ್ತು ಅಂತ. ಅಂದರೆ read books and travel. So I used to always say we have read several books and traveled a lot also. In fact, while planning to go to Russia, I was very much influenced by the books of Leo Tolstoy. Gandhiji was also influenced by Leo Tolstoy. He had established communication with him. Almost at the end years of Leo Tolstoy. So I had read, because I had read Gandhiji's My Experiments with Truth. He had mentioned that he was highly influenced by Leo Tolstoy's book, The Kingdom of God is Within You, and Lord Ruskin's Unto the Last. So I had no access to those Leo Tolstoy's books in Bangalore. I don't know whether I could get that in a public library. Probably they would not be eager to get books that were not available there in India. But when I went to America, any university, if you ask for a book, if they don't have it, they will get it from where it is available. So when I asked for these books, I could easily get them. That too for a graduate student. Here, postgraduate students are called graduate students there. So graduate students can get any type of book anywhere, whether it's available there or elsewhere, they will get it for you. So that's a good opportunity. So I could read some of these books, and I was very much influenced. And these are some of these things that we should observe. And at the same time, we have an opportunity to give out to others also about our good quality. And at the same time, the bargaining ability. This bargaining, cheap bargaining, is a part of culture in India. But in America, bargaining is unknown. Only in Cincinnati city, I was there. There was a market called, I don't remember the name of the market, where they would allow bargaining. Tomato, if they say $5, you can ask for $3. But nowhere else, there is nothing like when they put up a sales signs and boards, you can't go ask them for $300, they will have put $300. You cannot ask, can you give it for $200? Nothing like that. Bargaining is unknown to American people and Eastern people. It's only in India. For anything, first they will always raise the price. They know you bargain, and they will come down to the real price. So these are some of the differences you notice when you go there, and admire those things that are good, and also give them what is good from you. That should be the philosophy of all travelers. Yes, from Bangalore, it was a very small airport at that time. It was like, garage. I have those photos got published in the Deccan also. So from Bangalore, from that airport, I took a jet to Mumbai. Okay, from Mumbai. Before that, we had to go to Madras to get our visas, and first day I went there, I was too late. There was a big queue, so they asked me to come the next day. Next day was a holiday, so 2 days I had to stay with my old student of mine in Madras. Then I went early, and I was given a student visa. And at the same time, there was another Andhra student who also got visa for the same University of Cincinnati, Ohio, same university at the same time. So when I went to Mumbai, he also was there. So we went both together to New York, JF Kennedy Airport, and from there we had to take a helicopter to come to the local airport, LaGuardia Airport, local airport by helicopter. So first time I flew in both in an aeroplane and helicopter, and then from there we reached Cincinnati together. So that's how I reached Cincinnati, and they had special arrangement for students coming from different countries to stay overnight in the hostel. So it was late it was almost midnight when we reached the hostel, but there was a, night worker there who took me and gave me the keys to a hotel room where another Pakistani student was also given uh, stay facility. And he was jokingly said, see, there is a Pakistani fellow and you are from India, don't spite each other there. And he jokingly said and gave us the key. And early morning, the moment we got up, our next step is to find an alternative rented place to go. In the hostel, they don't keep for more than a night. So in the morning, that Pakistani guy had his own friends, Pakistani friends. So he talked to them and found a vacant apartment. And then I also went with him, stayed with those Pakistani people. And later on, I moved when I found my other partner who got the visa on the same day, and another friend who had come for study purpose. So we took a rented apartment and stayed in Cincinnati, Ohio, where I continued my studies and took my MS from that university after 1 year. I am not that kind of a person. I will appreciate good music, but I was not for going for that and things like that. I was not attending, but of course, this was common there, going to dance groups. Young people, they had social clubs and all that where they could dance together and all that. So I never used to go there, and I never used to go for any music items also. No, no. I was not, because most of my friends and my relatives have stayed back. Some of my relatives are doctors who are practicing there. Some of them are engineers who stayed back and practicing there. But that was not my intention. I wanted to get good education. America is a known advanced country for studying engineering subjects. So I wanted to make use of that opportunity. And basically, I had chosen my career in education as a teacher. So there was no question of getting into an industry, working and all that. So basically, I wanted to enhance my education to help my field in education by coming back in India. So that was my goal, not staying there, earning more money, getting better education and coming back and lead a useful teaching life. So that was my goal. And to an extent, I think I achieved that.
I hope you liked the conversation with SR Devaprakash via the telephone and his experiences of studying in the United States and how he perceived America during the 1970s. So let's see SR Devaprakash's passport. This is his first passport here. So you see in the intro of this page, it is the usual, which has the passport note here that is always there in every passport. And this passport is issued in Madras by the Public Relations Officer, Regional Passport Officer, Madras. So in this page, you can see the name of his full name, Shampo Ramchandra Devaprakash, and here it's written National Status Citizen of India. Then in the next page, here is the photo of Mr. S.R. Devaprakash. In this photo, he is in his 30s, I presume. So because this passport was issued in 1974, as mentioned in this page, where you can see those days they used to have like where all this passport was valid, and the huge list used to be there in that. Like you can see all these former states like the People's Republic of Southern Yemen, and you can see the USSR also mentioned in the list. And at some passports, I think back in the days used to have like mentioning stating that this passport is not valid Republic of South Africa because of those days of it being ruled by apartheid government. So this passport was issued on April 18th, 1974, and it was valid till April 17, 1979. So in this page you can see that his address is mentioned here, and his father's name Shampur Ramchandraya, like you have seen in the previous episode about him. And in this page you can see that the renewal of this passport was done in 1979 on 15th March 1979, and it was extended up to April 17, 1984, as it was for 5 years, because 1979 to 1984, 5 years. And you can see that this renewal was done in the Consulate General of India in San Francisco, California, in the United States. And you can see here also, like I mentioned, that mentioned in this note here, that all countries except the Union of South Africa and the colony of Rhodesia. So I may ask, you must know that at that time Rhodesia was like more of like an unrecognized state, because it broke away from the British colony at that point. I mean, like, unilateral declaration of independence was done in Rhodesia at that time. So at that time it was not recognized by any other country. So hence it was called Rhodesia also. But then the colony of Rhodesia was established for a brief period for the transition of Rhodesia to Zimbabwe by 1980. So in this page you can see his first visa here, the American visa here. It was issued in 4th September 1974. It was issued in Madras, the Consulate General of the United States of America in Madras. So in that you can see here the annotations mentioned here, the University of Cincinnati, Ohio. In this you can see the passport stamp, which is US Immigration, New York, JFK Airport. So in this page, if you see, this is more of his return stamp here above. It says 9th January 1980. He landed in Delhi Airport. So below here you can see his exit stamp from India. You can see here is a departure stamp from Santa Cruz Airport, Bombay. And here you can see endorsement from the bank in this page. And that it was mentioned that it was having some serial numbers here, and it's done on 28th August 1974. I hope you liked this episode. So in the next episode, I talk about an Indian expat family who lived in Iran during the 1970s, before the revolution, and how they managed to escape from the country during that era of turmoil. Please like, share, subscribe the Hashbrown Traveler.